This video is sponsored by Card Kingdom. If you want Magic singles or sealed product, use my link in the description. Hello everyone, doing an Avatar: The Last Airbender draft. We do have a strong rare here. Suki, Courageous Rescuer, +1/+0 to the whole board, and spits out an ally. Anytime you have another permanent you control leave the battlefield during your turn, so can leave the battlefield in a lot of ways. It's probably what we take. It's just a great card. I think the go wide, red white, and green white decks are both pretty viable, and it slots into both of those really well. I do like Zuko a reasonable amount. Not that hard to get a 2-for-1 out of. I like Ostrich Horse. I think Boomy, if you end up in a deck with 8 lessons, which is doable, is excellent. But Suki works in a wider variety of decks. The double white thing does mean, it might be a little hard to cast if we're light on white in the end, but I think overall it's where we want to be here. A couple of medium removal spells, and this rare is not particularly good and limited. I mean, it's basically a 1-mana 2/2 if you're lucky. Oh, wow. So I think this might be the biggest bomb in the set, so I'm a little startled to see it passed here. It's also a sparring dummy. Drink some water. There's also a sparring dummy, which I think is really good. Basically draws you cards, is kind of how it works out. Good comments here in the Court Official. Hama, I think, can be really good, but you do pretty much have to be blue-black to play it. It's weird to me that they made these hybrid cards that are triple hybrid mana as sort of signposty cards, but they don't overlap that well. But yeah, it's easily Ko. 6 mana, 6/6, exile your opponent's best creature, maybe steal some abilities. It's going to win a lot of games. Okay, so there is another sparring dummy here. I think at this point, we would like to stay in black especially. I mean, Suki's good, but not incredible. I really want to stay in black. Stay in that color for, as hard as I can good. So, I think maybe we take the dummy here. I do think Mai's pretty good. Prowess, can gain double strike. But I'd like the dummy a lot. And I don't think Airbending Lesson, although it is good with Ko and Suki to a lesser extent. I just think Sparring Dummy's good enough that I'm just going to take it here and see what happens. There weren't any great black cards in there. We're seeing a lot of good cards in these packs, and they're all in different colors. We've got the Cave of Two Lovers, which I think is one of the best uncommons, at this early going in the format. Green-Blue Signpost is pretty good. I think both of these are great. Corrupt Court Official is solid. I think it's a great, as far as 2-drops go, it's a really good one to have. Messenger Hawk's pretty nice. It's tempting to just take the Cave here and see what's going on. It is early in the format, and my evaluations could be wrong, and other people's could be wrong, and you do see weird stuff early on in formats. But, yeah, I mean, I think we take the Cave. It just gives you a 3-for-1, basically. So we've taken one card in 4 different colors. See where that leads us. Okay. Well, kind of leaning Canyon Crawler here. We do already have one 6-drop that's way better, but it's pretty good. It's Swamp Cycles. I like that it gives you a food. I always like the big 6-drop that gains you life, and that's kind of what it is. I like it more than Foggy Swamp Hunters or, Jiang's Deserters is okay, but I think taking a black card is probably a good idea, and I think it's the best black card in there. Okay, there's another Canyon Crawler. You can only have so many 6-drops. Heibai's okay. I mean, if we end up in black-white, that's where it'll be at its best. We'll have random tokens. Suki will give us a 1/1 if we sack something to it. It's not that good if we don't end up in black-white, and I don't think it's amazing even in black-white. I do like Fire Sages a fair bit. It's, firebending plus a place to sink the mana. I think it's better than Heibai overall, but we do have one card that's really good with Heibai, and we're likely to get some more. So it is a little tempting to go that route, but I think Fire Sages is enough better that I'm going to take it here. I'm not really a believer in Fatal Fissure. These kinds of effects are usually too narrow. It's tempting to think about you lose a 1/1 and get Earthbend 4 or whatever, but it just doesn't line up that conveniently that often. I don't love Daily Indoctrination, but it is better than... In the set review, I somehow read it as non-land, non-creature, non-land permanent, which it's not. And it might just be what I take here. Could take a random land, which is never, like, terrible. And the Battle Fan's okay. It's good with sacrifice stuff, but I think we'll take the Indoctrination here in the end. Okay. I mean, I think the Freedom Fighters is a pretty good common, and so is this. It feels like red's open to me. Saw pretty late Fire Sages, pretty late Cave of Two Lovers. Don't think this is that good. You know, this format will be interesting because they don't normally give us so many 3-mana 2/2s that get better when something happens because they're usually not very good in limited. But this set has a lot of them. I feel like every color has one. But yeah, I think we'll take the Freedom Fighters here. Maybe we'll be black-red. All right, we did get Zuko back. I think that's a pretty good sign. Boomy still being here is exciting too, but obviously we're deeper into red at this point. Do I want yet another black 6-drop? I mean, not really. But maybe. I mean, I don't think I really want Zuko's Exile. I guess if I end up with some reasons to really be into Lessons, this might be nice to have. Yeah, we'll take the Exile here. Okay, Merchant of Many Hats is solid. I think Mai's even better, though. So yeah, I think red's definitely pretty open here. Yeah, Fire Nation Raiders solid. And we'll take the Boomerang. So, don't think we're going to end up playing Suki or Sparring Dummy, but looks like the pretty good beginnings of a black-red deck. You know, that's the Firebending deck. Does make Zuko's Exile slightly better if you can Firebend. I don't think we end up really... Well, another Freedom Fighter, sure. Oh, okay. Well, we can splash blue to play her, so probably going to take her. We don't have the means to do it right now, but we'll keep our eye open for fixing, because 5-mana, 4/4, exile your opponent's worst creature, they get to choose. So what they think is their worst creature and the worst card in their graveyard, that's already a good card, even if it's their worst creature, right? You get a 2-for-1 at least. And then if they don't kill her, you have access to both of those things you exiled. As much as I like Mai and wouldn't hate Deadly Precision, although I like it less in this deck than in like Black-White, I think it's Azula here, and we keep an eye open for some fixing. This is one of the bonus sheet cards that's just like an F in limited. It's just a complete dud to spend a whole card on haste in a format, in a limited format. That's just how it pans out. Haste honestly isn't that good. It's a keyword that's only relevant for a turn, so it's not like it changes your board state, you know? So yeah. So Fire Nation Cadets, there's one reason for us to be into lessons. It gives us Firebending early, but the one lesson we have isn't exactly easy to cast early. This is not a great pack for us overall. I don't hate Ozai's Cruelty. I don't like War Balloon very much. I feel like we're on the Cadets. We need some low drops anyway. Ooh. So Firebender Ascension. Baseline is a 2-mana 2/2 with Firebending 1. That would make the cut in a lot of decks. And you can end up doubling your Firebending triggers and stuff in the later game, which is pretty cool. I don't think that part is massive, but it's upside on a solid card. And if you do get there, it's quite good. I mean, it can be quite good. It's not always. That's the problem. It's super conditional. It is what we're going to take, though. I mean, we're definitely into Firebending at this point. Okay, well, Iroh's Demonstration is a great lesson. So is Firebending Lesson. Those are both great red cards. Buzzard Wasp Colony, if you're good at Earthbending, is worth it. Otherwise, I don't think so much. Poxbearers is a great 2-drop for any deck. Yeah, I mean, 2-mana 2/1 dies into a 1/1. Do I like Demonstration a little more than Firebending Lesson? Probably not if I have Firebending, you know? Yeah. This is an instant, and it also is a lesson I can get in the graveyard earlier for our Fire Nation Cadets. So, okay. So we've got Cruel Administrator. It's you know, it's our signpost and all, but this set pack also just has Epic Downfall, which is just really good removal. How are we doing on removal? Not amazing. I feel like this is kind of a replaceable, like, high curve creature. Occasionally, it'll be bigger occasionally. Well, hopefully more than occasionally it'll attack and make a token, but I think 2 mana, exile a creature, you know, it can't quite hit everything, but I think that's a little bit better than it is. Okay, another Zuko's Exile, don't want it. Don't want Canyon Crawler. I think a lot of newer players, or maybe not even just newer players, but I think a lot of people will be tricked into thinking this is an amazing uncommon, but it's a Wrath that doesn't Wrath, basically. I talked about it more in the set review if you want more detail than that, but I think we'll take Wandering Musicians here. You know, don't need more Canyon Crawlers all that badly. Okay. Lots of interesting stuff here. I think we probably take Realm of Ko over Vindictive Warden. This is a way to fix our mana for Azula, which matters. But yeah, Realm of Ko is one of these. It's basically a swamp with upside, and the upside is real. I would play Vindictive Warden if I had it, but when I have the option to take Realm of Ko, I think I take Realm of Ko. Okay. We're certainly not going to be a black enough deck to go crazy with this. Seems like red's actually our primary color, but it's pretty good. Is it better than these 2 6-drops are going to be in this deck? I mean, probably not. I think I'll take, a Mongoose Lizard. If this was flipped and I had way more black than red, I think I would have taken it, but that's not where we are. So I think I take Azula Always Lies over Fire Nation Raider. Gives us another early lesson. You know, the more cadets we have, the more that matters. But it's also a way to spend Firebending mana, which is always good. So we got War Balloon and Pirate Peddlers back, neither of which is especially surprising. I guess for us, War Balloon's better. So the idea is that you spend your mana to turn this into a creature full time, but your Firebending mana, that is, but the thing that gets me about this card is I look at it and I'm like, okay, but if it was just a 3 mana 4/3 with flying and no downside, it wouldn't be that good in Limited these days. Like, it wouldn't be bad. You'd play that card every time. I'm just saying, like, that's the ceiling on the card, is like a card you play every time but isn't amazing, you know? I guess I'll take another one of these. And another one of those. I don't think the Disciples are great. We've seen so many of these little guys that make other little guys unblockable, and they've just never been good, really. Well, huge bomb here in United Front. We're not going to be able to play it, you know. We still haven't really picked up fixing for our Azula. So, and I think she's also really good. Callous Inspector's nice. Little 1 mana, 1/1 menace, makes a clue when it dies. Deadly Precision's here too. We're not amazing with it. We're not terrible. I think I need low drop creatures pretty badly. Well, maybe not. Although I don't really want to run some of those. So I think I like the Inspector more. I do like Jet's Brainwashing. If I had some sack outlets especially, but I think we need low drops bad enough that I think taking the Inspector there is pretty good. Man. So here's Boomy, another big power card that we could splash. We've seen a lot of bombs in this video. I don't know how many of them have been in my top 10 bomb list, but it feels like about half of them have shown up. He's great. Is it likely we pick up more like green fixing than it is we pick up blue fixing? I don't know, but the cards for us here in black and red aren't very good. So we may as well take Boomy and see what happens. The Wrestlers are okay, but they're not great. Okay, Zuko Conflicted, not worth splashing. You know, you have to be, I think, a really aggressive black-red deck to want Zuko Conflicted. Probably just the Court Official. Oh, there's a Combustion Technique. Yeah, I'd probably take that. We have enough lessons at this point that it'll do 3 reasonably often. We do have a Rumble Arena, which is tempting. But I think if we have this is a great spell that won't be hard for us to cast basically ever. Whereas if I take Rumble Arena, maybe it kind of helps me play these, but it wouldn't really be enough. So I think we take the Technique. Okay. So here's an Aang's Journey. I am kind of thinking I might take it. Zhao is interesting. He's better, honestly, in like a sacrifice deck than he is in what we're doing. He does have Firebending, but, you know. I think we take Aang's Journey. I think we want fixing badly enough. It's a lesson, which we have 2 cards that care about now, too. So I think I'm in on it. I'm curious to see how Fire Nation Raider pans out, because 4 mana 4/2 makes a clue when it enters is amazing in Limited. And that's not quite what it is, but it'll do it a decent amount of it. Ooh. I think people are overlooking this because of the ugly card frame, but Agent of Treachery is a huge bomb too. We're not playing it. Double blue is well with nowhere near what we can do. So we'll take another Mai here. I probably need like one more piece of fixing to splash one of these. So we'll see if we get it. Another Callous Inspector. Yeah. Firelord Zuko. He's kind of weird in that you sort of need airbending in your deck, which I guess if you're like red-white, you could have it and then you splash black. Because so the goal is to buff your whole board by casting things from exile, and yeah. We have a Barrels of Blasting Jelly, which fixes, but it's bad fixing. I mean, I'm still going to take it because I don't think I want another Cadet, but at this point, we could run one of these and it would be kind of okay, but I'm still not feeling great about it. Trimming some cards that I don't think are particularly good. Yeah, Musicians might end up on the chopping block there. Abandoned Attachments is okay for us. It's not great. Don't like Porcupine. Don't really need another 6-drop. So I guess I'll take Abandoned Attachments here. Yeah, I mean, Yuyan Archers are a solid 2-drop. Another Azula Always Lies. Probably don't need 3 of those. There's more of a chance maybe we play Earth Rumble Wrestlers, I guess. Wouldn't it be nice to just get a random land? So you might think, well, maybe we do take Zuko now, since he's still here. Maybe we're aggressive enough. I am curious to play him, because he's such a weird card. You know, I went back and forth on him in my set review. I think I gave him like a C+ in the end. I do worry that he makes you lose like way too much life, and then like your opponent gets it, obviously, eventually too. The dream is that the advantage he builds for you is well worth the life you pay, and then when you give it to your opponent, them losing that life is bad, but you still give them a pretty significant advantage. So yeah, I don't think... Do I feel like I ended up with enough fixing to jam one of these really powerful cards into the deck? Probably not, unfortunately. I would like to, but an Aang's Journey and a Barrel of Blasting Jelly, like what you really want are just like dual lands. You know, we did pass the one filter land, you know, that could have helped, but I think our deck is pretty good without these, as much as I'd like to play them. We don't have anybody who... You give clues, right? Not treasure. Something random that gave me treasure would be nice, but I don't think we have anything like that. So sadly, in the interest of not having a really messed up mana base, which is important in Limited, I mean, it's tempting to run these things, but it is pretty important to not have a messed up mana base. And once we've done that, I don't think we run the Barrel or Aang's Journey. I don't think we run Deserter's Disciples. This probably won't make the cut in the end. Yeah. It is a lesson. Do you tell me how many? I have 5 lessons. It's not like an insane number, but we do have them, and they are good with... They make our Combustion Technique better, our Fire Nations Cadet better. Oh, wait. I definitely don't want 2 Mongoose Lizards. Yeah, we'll go down to 1. That's a pretty easy cut. Don't know that I love Wandering Musicians, but it's not terrible. I mean, we have enough creatures like Random Evasive Callous Inspector, or Double Strike Mai, or 2 bodies from this, that attack trigger, like, it does matter. And I do think I'm going to play Zuko. I think, like, if this were, like, a huge high-stakes event, and I had to decide what to play that I think would give me the best chance of winning at this very early stage, probably wouldn't play him, but I am interested to see how it turns out. Picking up a little bit of sacrifice to make him really work would have been sweet, but we'll be fine. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, probably don't want Dali Indoctrination. We still have 4 lessons. I think that's plenty, and I think the ones we have, Abandoned Attachments, Firebending Lesson, what are the other ones? Combustion Technique, and the Azula Always Lies. I just think that's going to be better than this is typically. You know, it's not that hard to create advantageous situations with this. It can be a little awkward, but it's also really good with Firebending. It's good with Mai. So, I mean, I think I'd rather lose the Indoctrination. A few more cards to cut here. Yuyan Archers is definitely nothing special, but I can maybe see making our curve a little lower up here. Like cutting Mongoose Lizard. The one thing I like about it is that it does have mountain cycling, so if we end up with a hand with it and like 2 swamps, it's much more keepable than it would otherwise be, but that is kind of a corner case. So I think I'll cut the Mongoose Lizard. I don't think we can drop to 16 lands in a world where we've got Ko and Canyon Crawler and activated abilities and stuff like that. I mean, sure, Firebending mana can pay for them, but, you know. Yeah, it may just be the Archers. This is the kind of card where it doesn't look like much, but it does enough little stuff for the cost, and it has an okay baseline that it wouldn't surprise me if it's better than I think it is. Do I like it more than Merchant of Many Hats? Maybe. We're not really a graveyard deck. You can use Firebending mana to help you bring it back, but you know what? I think I'm going to leave the Archers in instead. Yeah. Okay. Looks like our deck. We got a little bit of wacky stuff going on like Zuko. We could have tried to force a splash, but I think our deck has enough going on that we don't need to endanger our mana base to do something like that. If only this set had Learn in it. You know, in Strixhaven, the card that was a lot like this one, I took so many rares that I didn't play. The card that was a lot like this one, if you did just have one, we could have easily splashed one of those, because every card with Learn on it would have let me grab it out of my sideboard. You know, that's what made that card so nuts, is you could splash with, you know, one basic land in your deck. You could very easily splash something, but this is not Strixhaven, unfortunately. All right, let's see how the games go. Well, we get to go 1 drop, 2 drop. We do have Zuko, which will be interesting. I have played with him once since I recorded the draft portion of this video, and didn't seem very good for my opponent overall. But I think if you get it on turn 2, that's kind of ideal, but we'll see. You know, Canyon Crawler and Realm of Ko are nice things to have in the opening hand too. I guess, you know, they're actually not really cards you want in your opening hand, but you don't mind having, you know, the Realm doesn't really have a downside. You know, I like that they design these so that they do have a big downside in Constructed, because a lot of especially multicolor decks have like lots of non-basics, so it'll enter tapped a lot, but in Limited, it would take a weird format. I guess in Cube, you might have a hard time getting it into play untapped, but... So yeah, she's interesting. She lets you loot when she gets tapped. Do I want to block her? I mean, I think I do. She lets you loot when she gets tapped, and she does something else lessons-wise. Yeah, if you get 3 into your graveyard, non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. I think I'm probably going to play Zuko here, but I do kind of have a free attack. I mean, they can't really block this. I think getting started with Zuko is a pretty good idea. You know, start to build that advantage. Also blocks well and stuff. Like, when he first comes down, the threat of him drawing your opponent a card, getting a counter, and getting a mana is pretty legit, even with the life loss. So the question is, how often does it get to the point where you have to lose something significant, basically? Okay. Did they get any lessons in the yard? They did not. Don't really want the mana. I think maybe we want the counter first because we can attack with the counter. Yeah. Yep. So we will attack with Zuko here. Play our Fire Sages. So next turn we might make the mana, especially if we don't draw anything else to do, because then we can play the Realm of Ko and use its ability. Ah, Benevolent River Spirit. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Definitely slows our roll. Still haven't managed to mill any lessons. So maybe I just want to draw a card now. Next turn, I can use the mana and play our Canyon Crawler. So yeah, let's just draw a card here. Ugh. I was sort of hoping it'd be something other than a land. I can still attack with... Well, I don't want to, though. With Firebending, I do have the ability to use the Realm of Ko here, but we'd have to attack to do it. So we're probably just going to use Fire Sage's activated ability here. And yeah, then next turn we can play the Crawler. This is where I think Zuko runs into trouble. I mean, I guess I could start attacking. Like, on that last turn, I could have attacked with him. And if they kill it, it's not really a huge deal for us. But, yeah. Geyser Leaper, okay. So let's activate this ability. Man. Every land. So yeah, we'll get the mana. We are pretty much dead next turn. We are dead next turn to aerial damage. So Zuko pretty much killed us, which is not too surprising. Trying to think if there's any way I don't die, but there's not really, unless they decided to block. Yeah, I'll play the Canyon Crawler here. We'll attack with both of those. So we had Zuko in turn 2, and it still really didn't feel very good. So this experiment so far, you know, not looking great for Zuko, but we'll see. I think if you have sacrifice, you know, you can also give it to your opponent right away if their life total is lower. There are interesting things you can do with them, but I'm not sure they're enough. I think it just makes you lose too much life. He's a really cool design because of how that works, where you can give him to your opponent to bleed him out. You can hold on to him for value, but we have him in our opening hand again. Are we supposed to play him? I mean, probably. Probably. We did die. You know, if it weren't for those flyers coming down and ruining our life, I think we would have been in pretty good shape, but... Okay. Yeah, let's play him. We have lots of removal here. Because he draws you a card, using your own removal on him isn't the worst thing ever. Okay, it's pretty bad. but yeah. Okay, so let's put a counter on him. Get this race going. Play Mai here. You know, when it goes down like that, I think you feel fine about it. It does make you wish a little bit that you'd drawn a card, right? But they about to kill Mai too with the 1 mana kill spell? No. No, they are not. So I think I'm going to attack with her and then just play Fire Nation Raider. Because we get our clue here. We can almost assuredly... Well, we can Epic Downfall him. I'm not really sure it's worth doing, but we can. We'll see. Okay. That's a pretty good draw here. Because it will buff my... I do think that... I don't think we really want to attack this turn. Maybe we do. Maybe trading my and then playing the Cave of Two Lovers is fine. Giving my double strike at some point is tempting. I could just attack with the Raider, though, and take advantage of prowess next turn. Yeah, let's attack with our Raiders here. We are fine with that, and then we'll play the Cave. We are going to be able to kill him, but only after he smashes in for 7. I am glad we can kill him, though. They don't have enough mana to keep him from dying to our epic downfall. And we'll also put the double strike counter on her. So we hit them for 6 here. That was pretty scary. You know, they played one creature that just did a ton. Luckily, he's exiled entirely. The bad news is now all we've got is Combustion Technique to try to kill something. And right now, at least, it doesn't do a great job. Okay. Okay. So we will Earthbend. Then we'll play Firebender Ascension to trigger my. And now, casting Combustion Technique on one of them really puts them in an ugly place. I mean, they have to block the right way. Well, not really. I could sack this clue before combat. It's not a terrible idea. Well, that'll be good later. So we're going to attack with both of these. Yeah, so we hit the... Oh, never mind. It doesn't actually work that way. We do still kill that, so there's no point in... Yeah, we just let it happen, I think. Hold on to our Combustion Technique. I was somehow thinking this was these both had 2 toughness, but obviously they do not. So playing Ko on something is going to be really good, obviously. Kind of looks like they're just going to sink their mana into buffing this, which is not really where you want to be if you're them, but it does appear to be where they are. Okay, they do kill my... But yeah, I mean, we play Ko here and attack with everything. Steal their face. Lethal. Exactly lethal. So yeah, I think when you have Zuko and he just turns into like an aggressive 2-drop that trades for something and gives you a little bit of extra value, that ends up being fine. The trick is trading with him before your opponent gets them. You know, it's a small sample size, but I always think it's worth playing with weird cards like that early just to see. You know, the safer thing to do is probably make someone else show you that it's good by beating you with it, but I think it's fun to find out yourself sometimes. Okay. Looks pretty good. 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop. Pretty good chance that we make a clue. Yep. right, so are they a shrine deck or just a multicolor deck? Looks like they're a multicolored deck. So play Freedom Fighters here and hit them for 4. Don't have anything to do with that mana, sadly. Right, so who do you stun? The Firebender? Yep, that makes sense. So we attack with our Freedom Fighters here. I'm thinking about playing Zuko here, just because... The only reason I'm hesitant to is I'm worried about, you know, if we don't get a clue out of this, it's not going to feel very good. But the good news about this is we will trigger this. If they hadn't tapped this turn, like next turn we could. Is it 1 or more? No, it's not 1 or more. So it would just trigger. Yeah, I think we'll play Zuko here. We should still most likely have an attack next turn, even if it's just attacking with Zuko and trading, basically. Which it looks like it probably will. Yeah, they've got a lot of different colors. Okay. I think we attack with everything here. You know, have to be willing to give up Zuko. The only thing about giving him up is we might... if we get this going, his ability is one of the best places for us to sink all that mana. But to get it going, we kind of need to attack with Zuko. So, so it's not that likely. The good news is we can use the mana still. I'm probably going to use it on Abandoned Attachments instead of on his ability. But, yeah. I wish there was a way for me to get the clue first, because if I could do that, then it would be an even better place to spend all that mana. But yeah, let's go ahead and attack here with all the things. Get a couple of quest counters. So I can cast Abandoned Attachments now. Maybe we hit something that helps us. Yeah, let's do that. Discard this. Aha! We did it! So we'll put a counter. Do we want it on our token? We probably want it on our token. Making it a 3/3 is a pretty real upgrade. Oh, whoops. Thanks for the warning, Arena. Making this a 5/4 is tempting, but I think, you know, turning your token into a... Do I want to use this ability now? I don't think so. You can only play the card this turn. It is awkward, but we're going to play... You know, yeah, let's play this and get our clue. So pretty good board position here. We are about to reach the 4th quest counter. Yeah. We are going to reach the 4th quest counter, but now we don't have anywhere that good to spend it. So we can do 8. We can do 9. It's funny that we're that close to lethal. But just not quite there. Okay, well, they scooped anyway. Yeah, this format feels assertive enough in the early going. Like, white and red decks feel pretty good. That trying to do 5-color nonsense might not be amazing. I hope it is. You know, I like formats. The best formats are the ones where, like, everything's viable. It's hard for that to be the case. You know, Tarkir Dragonstorm even had those wacky 5-color decks, and it had aggro decks that were good, but there wasn't really a middle ground, and so that was missing. Ooh, you know, you don't always want 2 of a legendary in your opening hand, but she's a fragile enough one and a good enough one that I'm fine with it. The first one's gonna die, you know, in other words. So Hitting that Azula always lies in that last game was pretty gross. Pretty gross. Okay. Play out our Mai. Okay. I may just spend the turn putting a double strike counter on her. Like, everything else, we can't do anything else, really, meaningful. So, I mean, I could, like, put a counter on her, but that's not worth it. So, yeah, let's just do that. She might die, but it's not like we're doing anything else. All right, she doesn't die, which is good news in the short term. Fire Navy Trebuchet. Okay. So, I think we attack with her. You know, it's not the most exciting. What's really exciting is what we did in the other game where we kill one thing and then buff our creature at the same time to kill something else. Can't do that here because they've only got one thing, but yeah, it's kind of a good problem to have. And I'll probably use this because it's more narrow and I get a permanent buff, unlike Firebending Lesson. So they may also just take the hit, in which case, yeah, I mean, we could do Azula Always Lies, but it's not really worth it. So I think we just play our Fire Sages here. So we will be able to kick this next turn. Okay. Here's our Firebending Lesson. I mean Ascension. I do have a pretty good attack here with my... let's see what happens. I could play the Ascension first. Yeah, maybe I want to do that. Let's do that. So she grows to a 2/4. And then we attack with her. I could consider attacking with the Sages, because I could use its activated ability. Or Azula Always Lies to help it. Yeah, you know, that's pretty good. So let's see how they block. If they block. All right, so I think we'll use Azula Always Lies. To put a counter. To put a -1/-1. No, putting a -1/-1 on the Warriors isn't really worth it, is it? Yeah, I think we just use it to kill the Warriors, basically. So put a counter and a minus, and yeah. So we'll give this -1/-1 and give this a counter. Is there a world? Actually, is it just better to use the ability? No. Keeping creatures off the board also means they can't do anything with Fire Navy Trebuchet, which is nice. Because you know, when you attack, you get to make a 2/1 flyer that smashes in and then gets sacrificed at the beginning of the next end step. Okay. Do I just want to Firebending Lesson this thing out of my way? It's tempting. I would get in for 6. Yeah, that does seem appealing. Now, where it won't feel good is if they can play some really big threat that I could have killed with Firebending Lesson, and that's not what that is, so I can live with it. Discard our extra Mai seems like a reasonable thing to do. I could wait to use Firebending mana for it, but putting this in danger doesn't really seem worth it to me. Ooh. Well, Combustion Technique and Co is a pretty good, pretty good outcome there. Yeah, let's go ahead and hit the Warriors. With Co in our hand, we can get away with just burning our removal that way. Yeah, they have to block that. They go to 8. We are 1 mana shy of being able to play Co, but we'll get it at some point. I was a little worried we were about to see Cat Gator or something, because that would be pretty bad for us. Cat Gator would. So I think we play Co and kill the... Do we kill the Death Toucher? If I hit the Hog Monkey, its ability is actually kind of good to have, the exhaust ability. This doesn't have an ability. I mean, yeah, I think we just play Co here, kill Pirate Peddlers, and then attack with these. Sure. Not that we can do anything with it, but we'll double the ability, just to say we can. Yeah. So, Mai kills that. Hog Monkey goes to the graveyard, but then gets exiled, and we do want to exile it, because I would much rather have that thing's ability. I don't have any way to get her back, do I? Being able to give him double strike is pretty good, too. So... This potentially has double strike, an exhaust. So that's cool. Okay, so that gets us in for... Yeah, and they have to block Co, so... Okay. Turns out Co's really good. What a surprise. Okay, probably a mulligan with all these red cards. You know, Epic Downfall, as good as it is, isn't the kind of removal you can have in your opening hand and say, okay, well, at least I can affect the board on turn 2, because I can't. So, mulligan it is. All right, well, we're going to get Firebending going on this earlier, potentially, with that in our hand. I wonder whether I want to get rid of our Canyon Crawler here. I think maybe we do. We're not casting it for a while. You know, the swamp cycling can be nice, like if we can't hit a 4th land drop or something, but if we put a land back instead, well, it'll be even harder to hit a 4th land drop. So I don't think the answer is holding on to him. And there's our 4th land drop anyway. So we may play Combustion Technique and just be able to get Firebending on this right away. They play, especially if they play something scary. They don't really, and I'm perfectly okay with trading for that thing. So yeah, let's just attack into it. And do 1 damage. Play our archers here, and we're going to discard our mountain. All right, Azula Always Lies. It'll be interesting to see if it ends up just narrowing out, edging out all of the X1s in this set, because it is pretty nasty against them. So, don't love that. I guess attacking with the archers here is pretty good. I can at least trade for Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper and get rid of it. Give it +1/+1 and that -1/-1. Like, that's a pretty good turn overall. Also gets us to the point where our combustion technique is better. Good chance they just take it, which I think I'm okay with as well, but... Yeah, so we go +1, we want both, yeah. Give this -1/-1. Give this +1/+1. It's just a 2 for 2, but it's one where I still have something on board and they don't, and I also powered up a couple cards, one in play and one in my hand, so... Okay. So we've got Firebending now. That means we want to go full control here so that we can use the Fire Nation Cadets mana here to combustion technique. Then we'll get in for 1, play Zuko. We haven't really gotten going super hard with Firebending. We've done a few value things with it, but if we're allowed to keep this, well, it doesn't look like we are. I was gonna say, if we're allowed to keep this, we might. Yeah, we're pretty much out of gas, but so are they, and may as well just go all out here. Use this ability, use this ability. They keep killing our Zuko before we can go super crazy with Firebending. Yep, that's a good draw. I mean, it's a big enough creature that I can't just smash through it. I mean, I think we attack, and if we trade Fire Nation Cadets for it, that's fine. That's kind of where we are. Okay. Makes me wish I'd played this land a little bit. It doesn't make a huge difference, but I think it makes a difference. We would have done one more damage there. Let's just play it. Does mean, well, we could have played Ko anyway if we drew him, because we could have played the land and then Ko. So they do have like 7 mana right now. There's this thing again. That thing did cause us all kinds of problems in our first game. That's for sure. Oh, Realm of Ko. So how much mana do we have here? We have 9. So I can get this thing's power to 5. 3, 6, 7. 8, 9. Yeah. So 2. Don't love that. So they're going to start drawing cards and stuff. This is probably, you know, this is kind of what happened in our first game where I think we, well, that'll help. I was going to say, where I think we run into trouble because we're out of, like, our opponent is stabilized, you know, but Ko does help us get out of these situations. I think we hit Katara with it. It's tempting to hit the North Pole Patrol, but I think I'd rather draw cards and tap things, so. Ooh, I think they might have counter magic. Hopefully it's just giving them the option to untap or tap something. No, it's not. Okay. So we get rid of Katara. We can't actually do anything this turn. We have 4. Yeah, Waterbend 4 isn't gonna do it for us. They will be able to stop Ko from attacking them, which is a thing. Well, he's dead now. I can't understand, like, what's it? Oh, it's asking if I want to use the ability, the activated ability, which I don't really. Still a 2 for 1, so we'll take it. And, you know, these Realm of Ko tokens might be what gets us there. Don't hate drawing Firebender Ascension. And yeah, we'll make our first token this turn. Yeah, drawing removal for Katara was good, because this is where you do not want to see her, because her ability to just generate cards when both players are late and you're in top deck mode is pretty scary. There's Zuko, which I think is actually pretty good here. We're far enough ahead, and we can press our advantage. Granted, it's not a great attacker here, but all I have to do is put a counter on it. You know? And their life's going to be low enough when they get Zuko that I think it all works out. And we still have the mana to do the Realm of Ko thing. I guess we're going to draw a card. Putting a counter on him doesn't do a whole lot right this second. Okay. Let's abandon attachments and see what we can find. Cave of Two Lovers. Is that going to be better than just making more tokens? I kind of feel like the answer is no right now. So we hit him for 2 this turn, then we hit him for 3 next turn. I guess it's better. I mean, we're going wide. It'll help us find lethal more quickly. Yeah. And playing the Inspector does the same thing. So we're just going to play all this stuff out. Okay. Well, Realm of Ko kind of won us that one. I guess Ko himself actually showing up. I didn't think about the flavor until now. Did it even more. We have been lucky to draw it in almost every game. So that'll win you some games. And Zuko has felt fine the other 2 times we got it. Not like amazing, but fine. Okay. Looks pretty good to me. Mine's been good. Not too surprising. A 2-mana 1/3 Prowess is a playable card to begin with, and her ability to gain double strike is pretty legit. I don't think we bother with Firebending Lesson on that. We don't really come out ahead in that exchange. Azula Always Lies is a little different, because I can use it to buff my, the Prowess buff and a counter. Okay, I mean, I think we just play out our Freedom Fighters here and go to start racing. We have another one next turn, potentially. Depends on if the board is one where we want to attack. Like, if they play another X2 or X1, we definitely attack. Okay. Glider Kids is a little more annoying as a 2/3. I think we attack here. I mean, we can use Azula Always Lies to really mess everything up. I don't love the Freedom Fighters getting blocked by the Callous Inspector, though. So maybe I only attack with Mai here. Yeah. They probably just take it. If they just take it, Do I do anything else? I guess just giving her double strike is fine here. It's not my most amazing turn ever, but I don't feel like either of these does enough right now to warrant using. So we'll just do the exhaust. Drop them to 15. Might have to swamp cycle this at some point to hit our 4th land. Yeah, I mean, they have 2 good attacks here. I don't plan on blocking freaking Sokka. So that's going to start drawing them cards in the near future. Okay, we continue to struggle to draw mana. I probably will have to swamp cycle. Trying to decide if I want to leave my back, like, defensively. I kind of don't think so. I think it's better to just attack with her here. Using her defensively just doesn't seem very advantageous. So I could kill the Inspector here. They get a clue out of it, but they lose a life. Azula will hit them for 6, drop them to 9. I could also just use Firebending Lesson. I could also just get in for 2 and use Canyon Crawler, swamp cycle it here, which honestly I think might just be best. I mean, hitting the for 9 is big. It does put them in a spot where they can't just, like... Yeah, that's too tempting, I think. How would it be 9? Because it's only 6. It drops them to 9, but yeah, that works too. So, actually drops them to 8 because of that. Hope I don't regret not swamp cycling, but I might, because not being able to cast some of this stuff in our hand does matter. We get to draw a card here if they attack with both, and I'm sure they will. Playing Zuko and just giving it to them, depending on how low we can get their life, is interesting. Yep, we take 4. They're also having mana problems. It's nice when it's, you know, both people. Yeah, they even had to make the same decision. They might actually have a reanimation spell in their deck. I think Mai's about to die, unfortunately. Yeah, give up a clue to kill her. That is well worth it. Okay, we did draw a 4th land, which is good. Do I just play Zuko and... Oh, I can't because I've only got 1 black. I mean, 1 red. I was going to say Zuko and Fire Sages. Fire Sages means I can Firebending Lesson next turn, even if I don't draw a 5th land, and I can kill Sokka or something. That's also true if I play Zuko, though, because Zuko can give me a mana. Yeah, okay. I think playing Zuko is interesting because at some point, it'll definitely be better to... It'll be worth giving them Zuko, basically. I guess I'm going to swamp cycle, most likely, so... Needing that 5th land maybe shouldn't have been such a big deal. Trying to go a little wider and drain, you know, finish them off with Zuko might have been better. Corrupt Court Official, huh? I think we discard our Freedom Fighters. We could discard Canyon Crawler, but getting the 5th land I think matters. The nice thing about Freedom Fighters is it could help us find lethal, but it's also not having a big impact on the board until we can swing for lethal, but having Zuko in play does make it easier for us to find lethal. So maybe we're supposed to just discard Fire Sages. We also only have 1 red, so he has to attack in order for us to use that ability. Yeah, let's discard the Sages. I think the Freedom Fighters help us a little more in this race. All right, so we're going to Swamp Cycle. Do I draw a card, try to find, like, Ko here? I don't hate that plan. Yeah, let's draw a card. Drop this to 11. We do have the Realm of Ko, but they have enough going on board that we can't just, like, ignore what they're doing. So, kind of think we need a Firebending lesson Sokka, because they're drawing so many cards. I could also play the Fighters and just Firebending lesson the Bounty Hunter. Except, again, I only have 1 red mana, so not an option. Yeah, let's just play Freedom Fighters here. Go a little bit wider. We do have a 1 in 25 chance of drawing Ko. He's shown up like every game for us, so... Fire Navy Trebuchet. Yeah, I mean, it turns into a 2-1 flying haste, I guess, in this situation, which is pretty gross. They can sack this to make a clue. Oh yeah, Sokka triggered her. That's not awesome. So do we just take 4 here? Go to 7. A little scary when we've got Zuko in play. I could try to kill Sokka by blocking with more things, but if I do that, I'm not going to be able to get in for enough damage, like, ever. Plus, there's a decent chance they have a trick or something and just blow us out completely, so I think this is all we're supposed to do. Yeah, that's gross. They're kind of going off now. And we are definitely not. Give them Zuko and just try to survive long enough. I don't think that's going to go very well. But if we go to 5 here, we're pretty much dead, too. And I go to 5 either way. Let's just give them Zuko. They can sacrifice him, unfortunately, for us. So two of the times we played Zuko, he wasn't good at all. And he was good basically only when we were ahead, which is not a great hallmark of a limited card. But yeah, we are pretty much dead. It'd be funny if they just gave him back to me. That's not a terrible idea, because I'm at 5, and they could do lethal to me. Okay, they didn't decide to do that. Because if they attack right now, I take 4. So I think it was actually optimal to just give me Zuko. I guess their fear is that I could do something with them. Oh, good, because we didn't have enough problems. Yeah, we'll just scoop now. But yeah, if they'd given me Zuko, they have like guaranteed lethal next turn. They kind of did anyway, but holding on to him didn't really do anything for them. So without Zuko in our deck, you know, maybe we'd have one more win. I don't know. I think both games we played him... the other one we played him on turn 2, and if he was like any other 2-drop, we might have been better off. Okay, Ko in the opening hand. Fire Nation Cadets, Firebender Ascension. Looks pretty good overall. Okay, so let us attack. Then play our Firebender Ascension. So, sadly, can't really do anything with the extra mana here, so we'll just pump it into Fire Nation Cadets. There's like something to be said for just casting the technique here. To get this going, but I think holding on to it to remove something more problematic is probably better. It is nice they don't get a clue if I hit it with Combustion Technique, but there's another really annoying creature with an annoying death trigger. Wow. Look at all these little guys. They got all the one drops. All the one drops are here. And Epic Downfall is pretty bad against all the one drops. So I guess we attack with our Firebender. And then play Wandering Musicians, which will trigger Firebender Ascension. I could hit, again, use the technique here. Doesn't really do that much for me, though. Like, sure, I kill one of them, and I can buff this thing's power, but, you know. Plus, they can just sack this. Although, not to make... This is not an ally, luckily. So, yeah, we're just going to attack with the 2/2. And then play our Musicians. Yeah, they do get some value here if they do this, but... Now maybe I do use Combustion Technique. Kill this, then this can't really do anything. And we end up killing both creatures and keeping the 2/2 on board. And Fire Nation Cadets will be online. Yeah, I like it. Now, the bad news is we don't really optimally use our mana this turn, but I think that's probably okay. Airbender Ascension. So they go after Momo, because Airbending Momo... Oh, no, yeah. The airbending is real good against tokens, that's for sure. Ascension versus Ascension. Okay, do like drawing more lands, because it means we're getting closer to our friend Ko. So now they get a counter or a scry or a food, all of which are pretty good. Yeah, scry makes sense for them where they are right now. So next turn, we are going to get double both of these triggers, which is cool, assuming they're both still alive anyway. So if they play something I can kill with Epic Downfall, yeah, I mean, that's what we do for sure. So yeah, now we double triggers here. Yeah, pump the mana into this, because we can't do anything else this turn because of how our mana is. And do 10! Pretty nice. So far in the early going, the Cadets is better than I expected. Like, it ends up being, like, pretty adequate on a lot of board states. Yeah. Sorry. Just Ko your Trebuchet out of the way and swing for lethal. It's been, you know, I thought it would be pretty easy to get going, but I sort of thought the upside wouldn't be that good. If I had to... I think both earthbending and firebending are both mechanics that I liked and thought would be good, but so far they both feel better than I expected, I think I would say. That's kind of the super early take here. Okay. Our friend Zuko. If all three of the games we lose are games where we play Zuko, it'd be funny. There were two where we played him and we won, but yeah. It would be funny, that's for sure. I wonder whether he's actually a better late game play because, like, but you still need to be ahead because your life total might be too low, so I don't know. I don't know what the optimal Zuko is. There may not be one. That's kind of, you know, based on this anecdotal evidence that we currently have here from this one draft. That's kind of where I'm at. Would I rather play Mai than Zuko? I think with Azula Always Lies in my hand, the answer is probably yes. And maybe it should just always be yes. I don't know. We got 4 mana right now, thanks to Hermetic Herbalist, which is sad for me. Okay. Path to Redemption on Zuko is kind of funny. I'm sort of glad that's not what happened. We will play Zuko now. More removal for Zuko. Ooh, South Pole Voyager is nasty. Yep. Oh, so is that guy. If I had my mana up. So that puts a counter on those. Ugh. Ugh. So I could get myself to 5 mana here. Is that worth doing? No. Is a counter worth it? Not really. I think we just draw a card. I'm thinking about sending Zuko in here. I think we do. There are some advantageous blocks, potentially. I don't know that they're going to... If they do block, it would be wild. Yeah, they're not going to. We do kill the Earth King's Lieutenant, though, here. Kind of wish I'd played my archers first, because they're a better place to put the counter than Zuko is, but, you know. But yeah, South Pole Voyager is going to draw them cards, and this buffed all their allies. It's not really where we want to be. But it's where we are. Play our Yuyan archers. Discard a mountain. If you don't draw both Ko and Zuko, that might be the way it panned out, right? If you get both, you can win, but just Zuko, not so much. Okay. Like I said before, like Zuko dying after giving me some value and lowering my life total a little bit kind of works for me, I think. Another one of those, huh? I'm going to play this in the first main phase because it's a better place to put the counter if, depending on how things pan out here. And I can still cast it. And then if they just don't, well, the question is, am I actually going to attack here? I think the answer is yes, because I can use Azula Always Lies effectively enough to make it worth it. Does feel like they have interaction of some kind, obviously. Maybe it's just sacking their Omashu city, though. Yeah, I think we attack with the Yuyan archers and leave this up. If they just take it, great. Then I play Fire Nation Raider in our next main phase. And if they don't take it, I'll use Azula Always Lies to win the combat one way or another. Alright, so they just take it. That's fine with me. We will play our Fire Nation Raider and get the clue out of him. You know, one thing about Exhaust that I think is funny is I do think it was a good idea to use that mechanic name because it had like an Aether Drift specific meaning, and that's cool. But it also just works for any set, which is, you know, pretty much where we are in any set. But they still have like the revving engine sound effect when you use Exhaust, so that part's not great, I don't think. Okay. Let's attack with our Fire Nation Raider. We're okay with all those trades. We're okay with the chump block, too. Yep, and we're okay with getting in for 4, that's for sure. So let's play our Wandering Musicians here. If we have an opportunity to use Azula Always Lies, we will, and if we don't, we'll crack our clue. Luckily, they've only triggered this once. I probably just jinxed myself, but... Ooh, God. Okay, so Boomy has joined the party. So is a 4/4 land. Glad Wandering Musicians is a 2/5. All right, we'll crack our clue here. Zuko and Mai. That's not bad. Do I want to attack with Fire Nation Raider yet again? I mean, Wandering Musicians honestly has a pretty good attack too. Like if the Musicians, the Raider, and Yuyan Archers all attack, like all 3 of those are pretty good. I do have to worry about extra combat phases and whatnot, but with Azula Always Lies, all 3 of those are going to get a big buff and then we'll be able to interact in combat in enough different ways that the extra combat will only work for the island anyway, and they kind of have to block here in some way, shape, or form. So we'll see what happens. Let's see what happens here. Block with a land. Block with a Fortune Teller. Block with Boomy. So I should be able to kill Boomy and the Fortune Teller. I put the counter here. Wandering Musician survives. Put the -1/-1 there, and Yuyan Archer survives. And then Fire Nation Raider and the island trade for one another. So we'll give this -1/-1. And we'll put the counter here. Yep. Man, Azula Always Lies, like its predecessor, has been real good. I can't remember the name of that card, but yeah, we'll play Zuko here. The Zuko who doesn't actively hurt us, I should note. Yeah, one thing is if I'd played Mai, I would have gotten rid of this and kept them from getting a 1/1, but I think it's okay that they get a 1/1. It's not... I wonder if they realize they can only do it during their turn. Guess we'll see. I guess maybe the Inspector should have gotten in there too, huh? Okay, so let's use this ability. And we may as well use it another time. Okay. That works for me, I think. So we'll kill that, hit them for 8. Then I think we actually want to play the Mountain here so that we can play Fire Nation Cadets and Mai. I think they drew pretty poorly following their South Pole Voyager, because they should have drawn more than one card with it, probably, but works for me. The games that have gone well, too, with Zuko, we didn't even get Ko that time, are the ones where he, like, does a little something, and then our opponent's like, I kind of have to kill this, don't I? Because it's going to give them enough value before I ever gain control of it that I'm in trouble. So, maybe he's like a C-. Definitely better if we had sack outlets, I think, but we didn't get them, so. Okay, nice, pretty nice curve out, a couple of lessons. I will take it. We'll attack for 1. You know, I call it a curve out, but we just have a 1-drop and a 2-drop, but we do have stuff to do with the mana. Bye-bye. Was nice knowing you. Okay, well. We need to stop drawing lands at some point. This will be our last game, I guess, because we're 6-2, right? So one way or another, it'll be our last game. Oof. I mean, we're going to be able to kill the stuff that they play when they play it, probably, but not being able to pressure them more for their slow start hasn't been great. Yeah, and they're just ramping to the moon, which I think most of our other opening hands in this draft probably would have killed our opponent before they would have really gone off with it. Oh, you know, if I had to wait to draw Cave of Two Lovers, that's okay. Combustion technique is pretty bad there. Ooh. All right. So the shrine thing is, you know, unlike Zuko, the shrine thing is where I want someone to beat me with it. Probably multiple times before I'll ever believe in it. So, glad I drew a mountain when I'm also going to search up a mountain. Do I just want to use combustion technique on that thing so that they don't get a 1/1? I mean, probably not. I'm probably just supposed to attack for 1 here, but this is like the ideal setup for a shrine deck because they played this, they're not under that much pressure. Maybe I am just supposed to combustion technique and try to race them here. You know what? Let's do it. Keep them from getting their creature, attack for 3, and I can still use Firebending Lesson to kill most defensive creatures that might show up. I Earthbend 3 this next turn. I think it gives us our best. After having the slow start that we had, I think it gives us our best chance. Okay. So we're going to Earthbend onto this swamp. And we're going to try to kill this thing with Firebending Lesson. If they can stop me, I think we're in trouble. Is it happening? I hope so. Doesn't look promising though. Maybe they're just going to kill something in response. I can live with that. Yep, I can live with that. Right, we've got him down to 8. Have some pressure on him. Sort of out of gas. Okay, well, they're going to give us a little bit of gas. Nice, and we drew some more as well. I guess maybe I should have drawn my card first because we do have that 2 power haste guy. Yeah, let's go ahead and crack one of these because we might draw another creature to play on board right away. Oh. No, but big creature for next turn. We have lethal on board, so that's nice. Let's crack this other clue. I'm thinking they've got removal of some kind to stop us from Giving them Zuko might be funny. Ooh, they even get to gain life off of that, which I don't love. Giving them Zuko Conflicted is a lot less good, but I think playing both Zukos is better than playing Canyon Crawler. Yeah. Because the Crawler is just one 6-power thing. It's not a threat or a way for us to draw even more cards or anything. So, no point in using that ability here because we wouldn't be able to play anything. All right. We got to 7 wins. Ko's really good. Zuko's pretty medium. Maybe worse. But I think our deck overall was pretty good. We had a nice mix of removal, a little bit of lesson stuff, and firebending going on that we managed to leverage to 7 wins. So I'll take it.